I recently did a video about John Le Bon's channel and his toucan hoax theory. He has responded. With massive thanks and appreciation to all my patrons, including new patrons Sharpworks, Ex-Penguin95, Stephen York, Uwe Closer, Wee Scott's Dog, Marconius, Jason Utting, Kevin Seidel and Doc Brew, and my latest patron Marius. Thank you all so very much. Now, John's response video is very calm, measured and polite, and I'd ask that you all remember that. Now, John seems to believe that you and I may not be all we seem. John, roll VT.
So even though there's more than 100 members on johnlebon.com, and some of them have been there for a number of years, we don't all agree about everything, far from it.
And I should think that one of those things is wearing sunglasses indoors. You're very small, aren't you, John?
And one of the things that we seem to disagree about more than just about any other topic at johnlebon.com is this idea that the masses, the regular people, are no different in form or function from robots. That is, that they're just non-player characters with no original thoughts of their own, no capacity for critical thought, etc.
What on earth do you mean?
I'm very open in my thoughts about this. I speak about this not just behind the paywall at johnlebon.com, but also on my YouTube channel. I talk about this openly. I think the average person, God love them, is basically a robot who just follows their programming and has no capacity for their own independent thought.
When you say they have no capacity for independent thought, I've got a feeling that you and other conspiracy believers are just miffed that the average person doesn't believe all your rubbish because there's no evidence for it.
And I even say this doesn't make them a bad person. This is just how they are, same as dogs and cats and birds and...
He's having a go at the birds now. John, it's not really very nice to compare the average person to dogs and cats and birds. You're not really showing them much respect.
All other kinds of creatures have a nature. The nature of the human is to be a herd animal who just does what the herd does and does what it's told.
Right, and for some reason you and the other conspiracy people are special.
But many of my own supporters don't like me saying that for various reasons. And so what I'm hoping is that you guys can help me, especially those of you who are members of this Mr. Sensible audience.
Hey guys, he's talking about you.
This guy here made a video all about me.
Well, not really. I made a video about your ridiculous entertaining of the theory of toucans' beaks being fake.
A couple of weeks ago on September 11, 2020, interesting timing, and he was talking about my video, The Animal Hoax.
You got it, John.
With Toucan Senpai, who's a member of johnlebon.com. Now he calls this theory, this idea that some animals are fake, the dumbest conspiracy of the year.
That would be because hoaxing animals, such as gorillas and toucans' beaks, is the dumbest idea of the year. Never mind how is this being done, never mind who is doing it, never mind why we'd see no real evidence of it. The big question is, why the bloody hell would anyone want to?
And as you can see, he's got 666 thumbs up and 6 thumbs down.
John, at the moment that you captured that video, I had 666 up and 6 down. Perhaps a few minutes later, it was 667. Your point, it's a bloody number.
And in the video, he seems to just basically criticize myself, criticize other so-called conspiracy theorists.
And is that any surprise, John? Your evidence consisted of the fact that the beaks of baby toucans look different than the beaks of adult toucans. The fact that you felt that they looked glued on and they looked ridiculous. That's not really evidence, is it?
And then at the end say, hey, come and support Mr. Sensible Patreon, whatever. So,
hey, come and support Mr. Sensible Patreon.
It seems as though he's got himself a decent audience, and I'm hoping that some of you are watching this video right now. The audience of Mr. Sensible.
Oh, yes.
We are.
Because you guys can help me. Because maybe I'm wrong about you. Maybe you guys can think for yourself.
You've got to think for yourselves. You're all individuals. Yes, we're all individuals. You're all different. Yes, we are all different. I'm not.
Maybe I'm wrong. And you know what? If you can help prove that I'm wrong, which if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it.
Well, that'll be good. But of course you could try proving yourself right by finding some toucans with fake beaks.
If that's the case, many of my own supporters and members and subscribers to my website will be happy about this. So this one could help many people. Could help many people at once. So you guys can help me. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at this image. This is the Lunar Lander. This is the module, this is the thing, the contraption, that landed on the moon. That's right, back in 1969.
And no doubt it was manned by many suspicious animals and was put up there by NASA, the National Aeronautics and Toucans Administration.
This thing landed on the moon. Or did it? Because some people, believe it or not, think that this is just like a high school project and it was done in some kind of warehouse here on Earth, is what they think. Can you believe that? Some people actually believe that.
Well, bearing in mind some of the crap that you seem to believe, I'm not surprised.
So I want you guys to take a close look at this. I'll post a link to this image in the info box below. Tell me, guys, what do you see? Especially the audience of Mr. Sensible.
Well, there you are, guys. He's asking you, what do you see?
Tell me, what do you see here? Like, say, this shiny thing. Do you see a high-tech gadget that's been sent to the moon? Or do you see aluminium foil?
Oh dear, here we go.
Say these rods here. Do you see high-tech, well-engineered contraption that went to the moon? Or do you see curtain rods? Something similar to a curtain rod, something like this. Or say this here. Do you see some kind of super advanced alloy metal that was used to construct this contraption? Or do you see what looks suspiciously similar to cardboard?
John, you do realise you can go to NASA websites and find details of all this.
What do you see? You tell me. How about these cones here? Do you see some kind of super duper high-tech advanced positioning system that must shoot out particles to, put this thing on the moon where it's supposed to go? Or do you see kind of like plastic cups, like, things that you would buy to pour petrol into a lawnmower, like a funnel for a lawnmower? I mean, what do you see?
John, what I see is someone who, instead of finding out about and learning about, will grasp any wild theory because it just happens to suit you.
You guys tell me, because if you are able to think for yourself, if you're not a robot, then your answers will reveal that to us in the comment section below.
What is this? Some sort of medieval witch trial? Dunk her in the pond. If she drowns, she wasn't a witch. So if we make comments and they are not supporting what you believe, then we're robots. We're only not robots if we make comments that support you.
So please let me know, what do you make of this contraption? I've got one more thing for you as well.
Oh, goody.
This car is the car that was driven with Franz Ferdinand in the car. I don't think he was driving. I think he might have been had a chauffeur or something. But he was allegedly in this car, according to the official story, on the day that he was assassinated.
Well, what else are you suggesting, John? That when he was assassinated, he wasn't there at the time?
Now, I'm sure all of Mr. Sensible's audience are very educated, intelligent people.
That's very kind of you to say that, John. And I think you're very correct.
And so they're all up to date on their history. They all know their history very well. They would know that it was the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand that led to what we call World War I. And of course, that set the scene a couple of decades later for what we call World War II. So it was a huge geopolitical event.
Do you think so?
The assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And it happened on the day he was travelling in this car. Now, the number plate is A118. You can see that for yourself, A118.
John, just don't go. I know exactly what you're going to do.
So you can see that. That's the official story. No conspiracy theory for you. Now, the official history is that the armistice, the end of that war, so the war that started after a guy was shot after travelling in that car, that same war ended a few years later on the 11th of November, 1918. It's known as the Armistice Day.
Don't do it, John. Just don't do it.
And it's commemorated as Armistice Day to this day on November 11. So if we look at that date, 11/11/18, and then we look at this number plate, we see A111118, or what could be interpreted as ones, which would be 11/11/18. So in how Roman numerals I equals 1, if you were to read this number plate the same way, you'd have A as in armistice, 11/11/18. Well, that's the day of the armistice, but hold on, the person who was shot, this was a few years before Armistice Day, so that can't have been done I mean, that's just a coincidence, right?
No, John, it's not even coincidence. You have taken 3 letter I's, pretended they were ones, then taken 2 of them to represent 11 and the other one to be part of another 11. You've just twisted something to fit your wacky narrative.
I don't know, you tell me. In the comments below, guys, especially the audience of this guy, Mr. Sensible, please leave your comments below.
And there is a direct invite to you all. Please visit John's video above and feel free to leave comments. I would ask, can you please make them respectful and not rude? After all, he has been exactly that towards me. Thanks for that, John.
Give me your comments. I promise I won't delete them. Unless it's like unnecessary abuse of me, which I don't see the need for that. Just give us your opinions, and even if they're completely against my opinions, that's cool. Post your comments. I won't delete them. I won't edit them at all. Leave your comments, everybody, but especially the audience of Mr. Sensible. And let me know what you think about this. And this will help my audience to better understand, and the members on my website to better understand. Have I gone too far by calling you people robots with no capacity for thought?
Well, I think possibly you have, John, because there is no evidence for that whatsoever.
Shut up and sit down.